Yeah, right, like falling for that. The hell do you think I am? The freak you think this is? You think I was gonna fall for that? You ain't gonna catch me slipping. Hell no. Who do they think I am? I am not gonna open the window for you either. I am the white person that survives to the end of the horror movie. Leave me alone. So hello everyone, and welcome to Internet History. I'm your teacher, Jessica Layla, and today's subject... She's behind me, isn't she? Silly. So it was February of 2019, when millions of parents around the world received the same terrifying warning. A dark-haired bird woman was stalking children through YouTube Kids, WhatsApp, Fortnite, commanding them to hurt themselves, or worse. Police issued alerts, schools were sending home warnings, celebrities were begging parents to please check their children's devices. But here's the thing, the Momo Challenge, as it was dubbed, barely even existed. How did a single piece of horror art trigger global panic that may have caused more harm than the threat it was meant to stop? And what happened to the innocent artist that was caught in the crossfire? Meet Keisuke Aiso. Keisuke is a Japanese special effects modeling and special makeup artist who has worked on a wide range of projects, including TV dramas, variety shows, movies, and commercials. He's the president of the company Link Factory, and this company has worked on a wide range of projects. You see, in 2016, he was invited to participate in a group exhibition called Ghost Gallery at Vanilla Gallery in Tokyo. For this show, he created what he called Mother Bird, the sculpture we all now know as Momo. But you see, this wasn't just a random scary art project. Keisuke drew inspiration from Japanese folklore, specifically the ubume. She is typically a woman who died just before, during, or just after giving birth, and anxiety for her child may prevent her spirit from moving on. Ubume can appear in many forms. A woman carrying her baby, a pregnant woman, or a blood-soaked walking corpse carrying an underdeveloped fetus. Other times they just appear as horrific, bloody, pregnant women crying out desperately into the night for help. The name Ubume is written with characters that imply a bird's name. The literal translation of these characters is child-snatching bird, and some theories connect this spirit with another yokai called the Ubume Tori. This yokai is an evil bird which flies through the sky searching for clothing that has been left on the clothesline overnight. When it finds some, it smears its poisonous blood on the clothing. Shortly afterward, the owner of those clothes begins to develop shakes and convulsions, possibly leading to death. Ubume Tori are also blamed for snatching babies and taking them away into the night sky. Whether this bird is another form of the ghostly mother or a separate spirit with a similar name is not known. And for Keisuke, this was just another piece in his horror art collection. He's made many pretty cool pieces, but 2 years later, something strange started happening. Hateful emails in Spanish, English, and various other languages began flooding his inbox, as many as 30 a day, telling him to go die and asking, "Aren't you ashamed?" He had no idea what was happening and why he was receiving these emails, until he discovered that the internet had taken his art and twisted it into something far darker than its original intent. But how did Keisuke's gallery piece escape the art world? So it's July of 2018. YouTubers were buzzing about the internet's newest and most disturbing phenomenon.
No! Oh my god, she just sent something really scary!
Oh my god! Yo, that's crazy.
It started somewhere on Reddit. Someone cropped and possibly edited the mother bird image, then someone by the name of Almighty Sosa00 posted it to r/creepy, and the response was immediate. Redditors were genuinely horrified by this image. Because, well, it is kind of scary to look at, but also because of the lack of context surrounding it. That was actually just the beginning. Reports started surfacing that someone, or multiple someones, were using this image as their profile picture on WhatsApp, in particular targeting teens and young children, with messages being traced to South America and India. These accounts would reach out to vulnerable young people with a simple message: hurt yourself, hurt others, or kill. Similar to the Blue Whale Challenge that had been terrorizing the internet just a few years prior. Hey, editing Jessica here, and in short, the Blue Whale Challenge is a social network phenomenon dating from 2016 that is claimed to exist in several countries. It is a game reportedly consisting of a series of tasks assigned to players by administrators over a 50-day period, initially innocuous before introducing elements of self-harm, and the final challenge requiring the player to commit. By August and September of that same year, public warnings were issued across Argentina, Germany, Luxembourg, Spain, Canada, Mexico, and even the United States. In France, the Ministry of the Interior was reviewing the situation daily. Then came the reports that only further spread the fear. Alleged deaths had been linked to Momo. In Colombia, authorities claimed a 12-year-old girl and 16-year-old boy had taken their lives after playing this terrifying game. The Philippines reported an 11-year-old boy's suicide, with police urging parents to monitor their children's online activity. Pakistan's government went so far as to draft legislation making it a crime to distribute both Momo and Blue Whale Challenge content. The panic had reached its peak in early 2019, when Momo's reach began to spread to the platforms that people thought were safe. Remember, this started on WhatsApp. Reports claimed that the challenge was being spliced into YouTube Kids videos, Peppa Pig episodes, and Fortnite content that would suddenly cut to Momo's terrifying face, instructing children to harm themselves.
A wasp!
Hello. I am Momo. Your worst nightmare. I am gonna kill you. I will kill you. At night I'll come when you're in your bed, and in the morning you'll be dead. You want a surprise? Look in my eyes. I won't lie, and you'll never meet me. And your parents will never see me. Sweet dreams, little one.
And even Kim Kardashian posted to her millions of followers on her Instagram story, pleading for YouTube to remove these videos. This was spreading like wildfire. But what if I told you this was just an extremely elaborate hoax, and none of this ever really happened? So, the crazy thing about this is that there's no evidence. There is literally zero evidence that this ever actually occurred. No one ever reported any actual messages. There were never any actual screenshots. There was literally nothing proving that this challenge actually ever existed. All of those suicides that had been linked to Momo didn't actually have any proof behind them being caused by this challenge. The 11-year-old boy who killed himself through overdosing, no official information linking this incident was ever established by the authorities. 130 teens had allegedly died in Russia from this challenge, yet no official reports could confirm such a thing. And authorities, by and large, were unable to confirm any real cases of physical harm or death resulting in messages from someone claiming to be Momo. The internet, the news, and celebrities spread panic over something that wasn't actually occurring. The Peppa Pig videos with Momo, however, yeah, that actually did exist. But it was Momo being edited into the cartoon, and since we know that YouTube Kids often lets controversial media weasel on through, kids were being exposed to videos that they shouldn't have, which is just kinda true across the board when kids have any kind of internet access. And Snopes, the fact-checking website, even said the story was far more hyper-hoax than reality. The founder of Snopes, David Mickelson, also doubts anybody actually came to any harm, and said the whole thing may primarily be a product of bullies and pranksters latching onto a handy mechanism to goad and torment vulnerable youngsters, rather than an intrinsic part of a particular social media challenge. Web security experts and folklorists studying urban legends have stated that the phenomenon is likely a case of moral panic. A sensationalized hoax fueled by unverified media reports, also fueled by parents' fears in wanting to know what their kids are up to. There's an inherent fear in what young people are doing with technology. A creepypasta had been written in 2020, which really further propelled this story into the light. You would not believe how many young children and teens are reading these stories and thinking it's non-fiction. The comment section alone proves as much, and you can go hear that creepypasta in its entirety right up here. The preview of the message caught Carmen's attention. It read, "The Momo Challenge." And while you're at it, you should probably subscribe. Or Momo will get. However, the hoax did have a negative impact. You see, the conversation surrounding internet safety as a whole, children being exposed to disturbing imagery with unlimited internet access, predatory behaviors being enabled by a trend, fear-mongering tactics, and the work of our artist Keisuke Aiso being used in an extremely harmful way, ultimately trashing his name in the process. This terrifying imagery, for kids at least, could definitely leave a detrimental impact behind. Meanwhile, halfway across the globe, Keisuke Aiso watched in confusion and horror as his art became a global nightmare. He never gave permission for his sculpture to be used in this way, and his feelings about the whole ordeal were complicated, to say the least. "I have mixed feelings," he said in an interview. "How did it spread around the world when so few people in Japan know about it? In many ways, I wonder why." You see, Keisuke actually understood the appeal of scary stories. He'd grown up loving Japanese urban legends, like the slit-mouthed woman, the human-faced dog, and Kashima-san. These tales had terrified him as a child. He still couldn't use the bathroom at night or look at frosted glass without fear. But those childhood scares became fond memories. I don't think it's a bad thing for children to be exposed to and develop a wide range of emotions, such as fear, in addition to anger and sadness. But this situation was different. This wasn't folklore being passed down or an appreciation for his creations. This was his art being weaponized to allegedly harm children and harm his name. And this was his message to the kids who were afraid of his creation. There may be children who are scared that Momo will visit their house or curse them, but that's not the case, so don't worry. I want to tell them it's better not to die. And for what it's worth, I agree. That is better. So where is Momo now? Well, actually, over the summer of 2018, right as the panic was reaching its absolute peak, the original mother bird sculpture began to deteriorate. Made of silicone resin, oil dripped onto it, causing damage. The mother bird was destroyed, tossed, and the sculpture that had terrorized the world was no more. Rest in peace, mother bird. I think a lot of the time, the internet wildly misunderstands these topics, right? So teenagers and kids were definitely taking their lives around the time that this was happening. But I don't think it was because of Momo, or because some mysterious person was reaching out to them, telling them to harm themselves or others. Sometimes I think the internet just wants to pin the issues that kids are experiencing. It's always crazy around that damn phone! Or blame the latest trend. Like the teenager who crushed up a butterfly and injected its remains into his veins, or the kids who were snorting Smarties, and by and large, ignored the larger issues these children are experiencing. Unsupervised internet access has done massive damage to an entire generation, and the conversation about this is only going to keep evolving as we keep going with technology, especially in the age of AI. Like, did you see that video of the bunnies on the trampoline? I low-key was tricked for a hot minute into thinking that was real. I felt so old when I was like, haha, wait. It is my opinion that kids do not belong on the internet, social media, or any online spaces not built specifically to keep them safe. Because children can be exposed to gosh knows what. Ask a lot of Gen Z, and a lot of us will tell you that having unrestricted internet access led us to some pretty dark paths. Grooming, gore, access to adult conversation, exposure to adult things, lots of horrible things can happen when kids are on the internet. They shouldn't be on YouTube really in any form, even the platform that's built for them, and they need to be watched. To be fair, what your children are exposed to and begin to believe is sometimes way out of your control. But teaching them common sense and not to fall victim to bait is key. Trends die out, common sense is forever. And that is our lesson in internet history, Momo edition. May we remember Momo, aka Mother Bird, for what she truly is. A piece of amazing horror art made by the very talented Keisuke Aiso. So yeah, that was our official lesson. I've actually been wanting to talk about this since the last internet history lesson we had, because it's in certain ways very similar to the Talking Angela hoax. You should go watch that if you're interested. People very quickly and rapidly believe things are happening that are not actually. Now, would I say that there's a chance that there were isolated incidents of people doing horrible things online with this profile picture? I can absolutely believe that, but I don't think it was actually a trend. Because realistically, would not most people just press block and call it a day? It's very interesting to see how trends even start. The takeaway is, if someone messages you and you don't know them and they're like, hey, do you want to play a game? Block them. It's really that simple. And if you're a youngin' on the internet and you just happen to be watching this, keep in mind that most things you see online are fake. Okay? All the creepypastas you read, fake. They're just internet stories. The SCP Foundation, fake. It's a fictional organization. Truly creepy and weird things do happen every single day, across the globe. We're not denying the possibility of stuff like this, but stuff like this is just too fantastical. When nothing ever gets traced back to any one source or any one person, that's how you know there's some red flags surrounding it. So yeah, we've done a couple lessons in internet history now. The first one was about the blue and black dress, because that turned a decade old this year. Then we talked about Angela, and now we're talking about this. This series is kind of touching on older internet subjects that either never really had like a full explanation or things that people still believe. I've seen reels talking about, jokingly, someone with a Momo profile picture reaching out to them saying, hey, do you want to play a game? So it is still kind of a prevalent topic. It's really sad to see because I'm an artist, and I'm sure there's other artists watching this, to see this piece of art be taken and the name of the person be trashed so horribly from an entire hoax. Like, it's really crazy to think that people would reach out to him directly and blame him. And I know people would be like, oh, you're too sensitive. But how would you feel if you worked on something, made something, and then someone turned it into something gross, and then you ended up getting hate for someone else's actions? But yeah, if there's any subjects you want us to go over, I'm open to ideas. And if you're too shy to comment, what you can do is go fill out in the Google form below. Completely anonymous, ain't nobody gonna know who you is or what you're saying. It'll just be between you and me, babe, you and me. All my resources will be listed in a Google document below if you want to go check that out. And if you want to hear the full creepypasta, well, we also read the full thing, so if you want to watch that, it will be linked down below as well. So thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you all here next time.